Okay, this is the final piece of the 5-minute phone call between Jason Sullivan, an aide to Roger Stone, and these Trump supporters that he conference called, meaning he has contact information for these people. He knows who these people are. He knows that they're violent. He knows that they're members of militias. He knows that they're armed. He knows, where they are. He knows everything about, and organizes this conference call to organize them to violence on January 6th. And here he is saying that now he's saying you need to go to Capitol Hill. This is the specific call to action. Okay. You need to go to Capitol Hill because Congress needs to feel threatened. And then somewhere along the line, he's going to say, not that I'm inciting violence, as if normal people say this to each other, as if normal people go to IHOP and order the silver dollar pancakes and then say, now, I'm not asking you to go in the kitchen and burn it down. Like, nobody does that unless they have a cognizant, thought that they are inciting violence. Okay, this is Jason Sullivan saying, okay, Capitol Hill needs to feel threatened by you.
The Capitol Hill, the people in that building need to feel the pressure. Okay? When you want to get things done, when President Trump wants to get things done, he creates public pressure. I'm part of that public pressure. I'm one of the people that makes certain that it becomes viral, that everybody starts talking about it. Okay? The people start yelling and spitting and fighting and kicking and screaming about it. Okay? Then when that happens, then they have all of these hundreds of thousands of conversations taking place that proves that this is what the American people are talking about. This is what the American people want. And then he uses that and has used that in many cases for executive orders. Okay? I was called by Paula White to put pressure on Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell wasn't going to take the Prison Reform Act to the floor. He was going to kill it. She called me and said, put the pressure on him. No problem, Paula. She's a good friend of mine. We put a lot of pressure, and it was literally a day later that he caved, and he said, I'm taking the Prison Reform Act to the floor, okay? It was a miracle. That's how things get done. So you have to create leverage where you don't have it. And right now, we can do a lot of these things. I like the idea. Let's do the indictment, okay? Let's go through the process, but it's going to be a process. That's not going to be the Gordian knot solution, so to speak, but it can certainly be a hell of a nail in their coffin, especially if the process runs through, okay? But at the same time, there's got to be a multiple front strategy. And that multiple front strategy, I do think, is descend on the Capitol without question. Make those people feel it inside, okay? So they understand the people are breathing down their neck. And we've had it, and they've got it, and we've got to be perfectly clear about it. Now, I'm not inciting violence or any type of riots or anything like that, but we need to be loud. It needs to be like Jericho, okay? We need to shout and scream to where the walls fall down at Capitol Hill. That's what this optic needs to look like. And I can promise you, I can make that go so viral, so fast, across the globe. I know people. Trust me.
I know people, trust me. It's like a bad movie, except it actually happened. It is. It's like a really bad movie. If this didn't actually happen, you would never, ever believe that people who are so connected to the most powerful people on the planet, you're talking about the President of the United States of America, his communications people, okay, calling these rabble rousers, these drunk, sycophants all over the country and telling them go do violence, on Capitol Hill. They need to be threatened. You have to. That's how things get done. And then the whole thing about going viral and you have to trust me. I can make this go. The man is talking about, I know how to do propaganda. I know how to spread the big lie. I know I'm Joseph Goebbels, and I know how to make people sit up and pay attention to something being stolen from them by others, even though it didn't happen. I can do that. I did it with Mitch McConnell, and I can do that with you. And what we need to do here is called asymmetrical warfare. We need to grab leverage where we don't have any. As the minority of this country, as the party that lost by 7 million votes, we have to wage asymmetrical warfare. And the way that you create leverage when you're the minority and you've lost is you threaten people. You threaten them with violence. And I will make it go viral. Oh my God. When does this man get arrested? When do any of them get arrested? This is insanity. This is the man who made the call. He is a communications expert, which really now means a professional propagandist, a professional liar on behalf of the most prolific liar we ever encountered in the history of the presidency of the United States of America. Oh my God. This is so, it's such a great smoking gun piece of evidence. And, listen, when these hearings actually begin, please let them be in prime time, please, so that this whole country can see what they were trying to do to us looks no different than what Putin was going to do to Ukraine and did do to Ukraine. If Donald Trump would have been president of the United States again, then if this coup would have been, more successful, if we would have had a couple of dirty judges, let's say on the Supreme Court, a couple more dirty judges, if we would have had, a couple of more dirty judges in district courts and in federal courts, I promise you this country would look like Ukraine right now. It would be torn asunder. It would be from the inside, though. See, the saddest part about Ukraine is that Ukraine is being attacked from the outside by a foreign government. But we would have allowed it to happen from the inside, which is the only way that things like this succeed. That's why the only answer to Putin is that the Russian people actually, for some moment in time, are able to access real information, get real information, see what's being done in their names, and that the world doesn't hate them. They hate their leader. They hate their autocrat. They hate their dictator. They hate this whole kleptocracy, which is a government run by thieves that legislates for the thieves. And this man invaded this nation by choice to kill them and to terrorize them into submission so he could take their land, so he could take their territory. That's it. That's all that's going on there. Everybody knows it, except for the Russians. Now, if the Russians ever get around to figuring it out because they've been propagandized, we've only had propaganda in this country we had propaganda in 2003. And it talked a lot of people into supporting a war against an unarmed nation that we never, ever, ever needed to have. We never, ever needed to fight. We never, ever needed to sacrifice our young. We never needed to kill Iraqi citizens. We never needed to create ISIS. We never needed to torture people, render them, bring them to black site prisons and put electrodes on their genitalia and pile them in pyramids naked. That's propaganda. That's the power of it. That's what it can do. And we snapped out of it pretty quick. We snapped out of it. We said, that's not for us. And we picked ourselves a sane, smart, accomplished man to be the president of the United States after W. We picked Barack Obama twice. And for a little while there, it looked like we were okay. And then we weren't. Because we had a foreign country come in through social media and start propagandizing the American people that Hillary Clinton was a pedophile running a pedophile ring out of a pizza parlor. And this stuff sounds so crazy and so outrageous that you would never think that Americans, that sophisticated media consumers, would be able to be bamboozled by this level of stupidity, but it's untrue. They are able to be bamboozled by that level of stupidity. And they elected a thief, a fraud, a demagogue, an autocrat, who in the end literally convened a cabal of violent, mentally ill, deranged people and told them to go threaten Congress, told them to declare asymmetrical warfare, to do it, to show up and to scare and threaten Congress people into saying maybe there was a problem with the election, even though 60 courts, this was December 30th, Okay, the courts had already weighed in through the month of November and the entire month of December, and 62 cases produced zero evidence, and no judge ruled for them. No judge found for them. And so they pushed the button on the violence, and people showed up to do it. We're in trouble. Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to randyrhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.